fishing and also celebrate a pretty cool accomplishment, which is a new state record fish. Alan, we had sort of the official kickoff to summer fishing on Free Fishing Day, and we had a lot of events around the state. How did that go?
Oh, so it went excellent. There was a lot of community events, a lot of events that we participated in as an agency, and it was really good to see the families out there and the kids catching fish. And it was a great kickoff to the summer.
Great. Well, we are at a small community pond today in Cheyenne called Sloan's Lake, and Game and Fish stocks ponds like this all over the state in community fisheries and beyond. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Game and Fish stocking program?
Yeah, we have 10 hatcheries and rearing stations around the state where we stock about 6.5 million pounds of fish annually. Um, Multiple different species. We have mostly cool water species like trout, and but we do stock some waters with cool and warm water species like panfish, bass, walleye, catfish. So there's lots of opportunity for all anglers, whatever they're interested in.
A local pond like this has a lot of those different cool and warm water species in it. Where can people go to find out more information about the local community fisheries like these near them?
Well, a good source of information is the local regional office, Game and Fish regional office. If you're near one of those, you can call those or call the headquarters. Or if you want to just get some information easily online, we have an interactive fishing guide that has all the waters that have access within the state. That they just have to click on it and tell you what the infrastructure is there, whether there's a boat ramp. It also tells you what species are available. So if a person wanted to get on Sloan's Lake, for example, click on there, it'll tell you that there's catfish in there, there's crappie, there's bass, multiple different species of trout that we stock in there. So lots of opportunity.
There's lots of different types of fish species that you can catch in Wyoming. You've named a few, but there's about 24 game species.
That's right. Yep.
Great. Well, not that you really need more motivation to go fishing, but if people want to challenge themselves this summer, what kind of things can they do to ramp up their own personal fishing goals?
Well, for me, generally, I don't need a good reason to go fishing, but if you want a challenge, we have multiple kids challenges where they can enter in that challenge and get a certificate or from the department indicating their success. We also have a cut slam program that highlights the 4 native trout species that we have in the state, like Yellowstone, Colorado, Snake River, and Bonneville. And then we also have a master angler program that we kicked off in 2020. And that program recognizes anglers who catch an individual of that species that's of a certain length. So it gives them recognition for big fish.
And speaking of big fish, we have a new state record, like I mentioned at the beginning. We have a state record for a long-nosed sucker. And that record was broken by Christopher Bobo of Casper, who actually broke his own state record for the long-nosed sucker that he set just last year. The size of the fish that he caught this year was 2 pounds, 11.3 ounces from the North Platte River in May. That's about 1.5 inches longer than his first record-breaking fish.
That's right, sir. There's lots of entertainment. There's lots of things to watch. Lots of birds and airplanes as well as fishing. Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment by Christopher. I mean, it's one thing for a person to catch 1 state record fish, but to catch 2 and to break your own record is pretty amazing, and just goes to show that you never know what lurks below.
That's true. We did an interview with Christopher Bobo last week. Our associate editor of Wyoming Wildlife Magazine interviewed Chris Bobo, and we'll go to that interview now.
I'm Robert Gagliardi, Associate Editor of Wyoming Wildlife Magazine, and I'm here with Chris Bobo of Casper, the new and reigning long-nosed sucker record holder in the state of Wyoming. Broke his own record he set last year. So, Chris, first, thank you for joining us today, and let's kind of go back a little bit. Let's go back from last year and tell us about the first time you broke the state record for long-nosed sucker.
I ended up catching a red sucker. I was like, I never caught a red sucker before, so I happened to look it up to see what it was, what species it was, and everything. I noticed the record wasn't that big, so I just kept an eye out for it. Ended up catching one that was about 18 inches. I was like, that's way too close to the record to not do anything. So I took it in, got it checked out. Sure enough, it was heavier than the record, so I got it. Wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. I think it was just an unrecognized species as far as the record goes. Um, this other one was quite bigger than that one, so it was pretty cool getting that one. And I was fishing with my son when I got that. I ended up catching that fish. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a record. We gotta go.
When you broke the record earlier this year, how did that experience compare to the first? Was it very similar? Were there a lot of differences? You mentioned you're with your son, so I'm sure that made it very special. But what were some of the differences or similarities from the first experience to the second?
I just thought it was really cool that I caught it while I was fishing with my son because I like teaching people how to fish. It's what I'm good at. I'm really good at fishing, and it's one thing to catch a big fish yourself. It's another thing to hand that pole off to somebody that's less fortunate. I mean, I have my own YouTube channels and Facebook pages and everything. I try to help as many people as I can wherever I can.
Say, do you have any tips for people? Again, I know probably not a lot of people growing out and let's go catch some suckers, but are there some tips? I mean, you've broken the state record twice in 2 years. What are some sucker catching tips if you could provide any?
They like slow moving water, pools like that. Mainly in the river systems, any like deep holes or places like that. Cast a worm in there, just let it sit on bottom. You'll probably get one.
Gotcha. Do you hope to break this record again?
I think it'd be cool to get a third time, but it'd be also cool to see somebody else get it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. There's definitely bigger ones in there. I've caught way bigger ones when I was a kid. Didn't even recognize it as a record because it was just a sucker fish.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a record for every single species in the state, regardless of what it is.
What does it take to catch a record-breaking fish? I mean, obviously, there's maybe some luck involved. Obviously, a lot of time fishing, a lot of time on the water, a deep understanding of the species. I mean, in your mind, what goes in? What does it take to catch a record-breaking fish in your mind?
A lot of hard work and a lot of patience. You just gotta be at the right place at the right time. There's state record fish in all kinds of different bodies of waters of different species. You really just gotta pay attention to what you're catching and be familiar with the lengths and the weights. And just you never know what you're gonna pull out. That's the great thing about fishing. You can go catch nothing, you can go catch a record. You have no idea. Like I do a lot of fishing, so I am a multi-fisherman. I fish for all different species. One of my favorite species to catch is walleye, but it is always fun to go sit on the riverbank and do some lazy fishing every once in a while, and that's how I end up getting both of my records.
Last thing, I mean, obviously, you broke a state record. Anytime you could break a record, that's cool, but you've done it within the own year. Just what does that feel like to not only break a record, but to break your own record within a short period of time?
I thought it was pretty awesome, especially considering I got it in the same month within a year. Like, I thought that was phenomenal. Like, I was not expecting that at all. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Hopefully you get back on the water soon. Maybe we'll be talking to you again when you do this the third time, or maybe someone else, but we sure appreciate it. Continued good fishing and continued good luck out on the water. Thank you very much.
All right, yeah, I'm headed out today. I'm actually in Gillette right now. I'm about to go to Keyhole today and check out that fishery. I go all over the place. I also have my own YouTube channel. It's Bubbles Fishing Adventures on YouTube. And I do a lot of tutorial videos and stuff on there. It'd be awesome for everybody to check that out.
Awesome. All right, Chris. Well, again, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your record and continued good fishing. Thank you.
Well, we couldn't resist starting fishing now because it's such a nice day out here. So Alan's trying to catch a fish. And Alan, what type of last bits of advice do you have for people who are just as eager to catch a fish this summer as you are?
Well, you can't catch them if you don't get out there and try. And like we mentioned, there's lots of opportunity no matter where you live. Some areas have community ponds. And right now, around the state, fishing's excellent. Fishing for walleyes is on fire in most spots. Fishing for trout trout is really good right now. One thing I might mention is that later in the summer, as the summer progresses and you're out there fishing and the water temperatures come up a little bit, you might become cognizant of that. Water temperatures get above that 72 degrees, we recommend either keeping those fish or not fishing at all if you're practicing catch and release. It's just stressful on those fish or temperature gets higher.
Great. So watch those water temperatures, get outside, have a fun time fishing, and you can't catch anything if you're not casting, I guess, right?
That's my motto.
Right. Well, thanks for watching today. Don't forget to get your fishing license before you head out on the water and your conservation stamp if you have a 12-month license. And you can show us all the catches that you'll be getting this weekend and throughout the summer by tagging Wyoming Game and Fish on Facebook and Instagram.